Hey YouTube, this is your man Sonny Wayne Fella. I'm glad you can be with me today and I can be with you as well. You are a unique people, and each time I sit before you, I am pleased and honored. I know I did not put up our video last week Sunday because I try to do it every Sunday, but I travel out of Georgia, and I'm glad to be back actually. So I decided that to talk to the Liberian people. I've been listening to a whole lot of issues and messages and stuff that people have been talking about on YouTube. And even when I was in Minnesota, we went to our wedding cookouts, and there were people talking about the situation in Liberia, how they are becoming afraid because of what is happening over there. But there are a few things I would like to talk about, mainly because we see that next year we will be having our presidential election. And sometimes I tend to wonder why we forget so soon when it comes to issues pertaining to our nation, our beloved country, Liberia. We tend to forget too early. Liberians, we tend to forget too early. So the message today is for our people, Liberians, in Liberia and out of Liberia. Corruption is something that everyone should detest. Everyone should detest corruption. But it seems like corruption is on the rampage in Liberia, even though we had so many other leaders who I believe was corrupt. But it's becoming something that is a household name now in Liberia, where a government official can stand up in front of people and make pronouncement that if they steal the government money, they won't take it to Ghana or somewhere else. They will build right in Bon County or whatever county they're from. It is detestable. It is detestable. And we must talk about these things. I know it is something that is so painful when you sit out of Liberia and you listen to things that goes on in our country. It is so painful. But I just want to show you a brief video when the Minister of Presidential Affairs went to Bon County and made a pronouncement about stealing government money and what use that it is to the Liberian people. Even if you build a house in Liberia and you stole the money, it is not right. Even if you stole the money and built a house or beautiful mansion in Monrovia or wherever part of Liberia, it is not right. You cannot steal from the government covet. But I want you to listen to what this gentleman had to say. I believe you heard what Nathaniel Magay said about taking money out of the Liberian covet and using it for their personal use by building something in Liberia. When he was asked about this very issue, he said that he was speaking in context. If I stole money. But if you all heard him clearly, even if he had used the word if, I don't think it was appropriate to have used it in that context. We already complain. There are so many people in Liberia that are complaining about people stealing, the government official taking money out of our covet. And for him to use such an expression is so despicable. And it is so bad. And there are other issues in Liberia that we are faced with, and I believe these are things that is causing investors to stay away from Liberia. One is corruption that we just talked about. Two is safety. Do we have safety in Liberia? This man continued to use word about forming or protective group, wearing jackets and vests and combat or hats, beret hats and stuff, and I'm talking about no other person but Honorable Yeke Koluba. It is so scaring. We tend to forget, what we went through many years ago. And here we are again, talking about going to the butchers if nothing is done or if the election is stolen, and they find a protective group when they don't even have proof of stuff that goes on. And I will show you a brief video of him making some statement, which is just something that those of us that are out of Liberia, as they say, the diaspora, we want to return home. But when we sit and listen to these people making such pronouncement, and let's not forget that this man was a rebel leader. Okay? And this is the same man who's talking about going to the forest, to the butchers to start war. Are we going to sit back as Liberians and let such people or such person make such pronouncement and nothing is done about it? Even though he said, the president mentioned that we should have CCTV at our homes because of situations that goes on in Liberia. Having CCTV doesn't mean you should go and have a protective a group that you're going to train, knowing your background, knowing who you are and where you're from. How you destabilize Liberia, and almost 250,000 or more people were killed indiscriminately. And here we are again. You have a man that the Liberian people voted into power. We're not giving him the chance, even though we say he corrupt, he steals. But I don't think we should take it to that level and talk about protective groups and also talk about going to the forest and you will do whatever it takes. We forget to know that if Honorable Yekessin was in that position as president, what would he have done? If somebody always insults him, curses him, and say derogatory things about him, what will Honorable Yekessin, do concerning such an issue? Because every time he seems, when the press go and face him, he will always use profane languages that is completely inappropriate. If you're a true politician, you don't have to use words that are derogatory. You can use words that tell the Liberian people what you can do for them, what your party can do for Liberia. That's what we want to hear. How can you develop Liberia? What step will you take in finding ways to have a better healthcare system, a better educational system, a better way of managing the Liberian finances? How you go build better roads and village to market roads and electricity, water. These are things I believe Liberians want to hear, not to hear about going back to the butchers and you're going to protect yourself, you're going to fight people, I don't know why we quick to forget. Look, people were killed. I was there. I saw it. I was even almost murdered. But because of the goodness of God, today I'm safe. And not that those who were killed were not I'm better than them. No. But these are some of the things that I said or was said in Liberia. And sooner than later, we had this 14 years of civil war, killing each other. But I want you to just watch this little clip, showing some of the things that went on in Liberia during the Civil War, how people were killed and how many people. And here, Honorable Yekessin making such statement.
I came to speak to the Liberian people. The president had endorsed this group. He said we should provide security ourselves. Exactly. You understand what I'm saying?
One other reason that I believe investors might not want to go to our country, Liberia, is because things happen in Liberia and nothing seems to come out of it. People get killed, and it seems like it is just swept under the rug. This young lady, Princess Cooper, that was just buried. Sometimes words are inadequate to express how I feel about things that goes on, and nothing actually happens to bring those who are responsible to justice. Where is justice in Liberia? Where? Many times I don't hear anybody talking about it. Nobody, from the high up down. The police spokesperson will always come, jump ahead of himself, like putting the cart before the horse, and make statement that he doesn't even have reason to make. Without investigation, you can't just get up and make statement and say, "Oh, there was nothing wrong and there was no foul play." You can't say that. When I watched it, I saw it when the crime scene was completely destroyed. How can you say nothing went awry when the crime scene was tampered with, was trampled over, and today we have not heard any justice? If someone was killed in my house or in my backyard, I would be held responsible. I would have to answer publicly to the law and find out what happened that this person was killed in my backyard or in my house or wherever. But it seems nothing really happened. I have not heard anything else. So I want to appeal to the government, even though we can't ask the president to do everything, but I believe he has people in leadership, in authority, that are responsible for such thing. And it would be nice if they could do it, because if investors in other parts of the world get to know these things that are happening in Liberia, they will never want to come there because they're afraid of their life. If they get killed, nothing come out of it. If they bring so much money to Liberia and they get killed or murdered, it seems like nothing going to come out of it. So who want to bring the millions to Liberia to invest in order for Liberians to have jobs? I don't know. I won't do that. Even as Liberian, I won't do it. So we need to step back, Liberians, and re-examine our attitude as leaders. We need to do that. And talking about, if this person and don't do this, we do this, we go to the bushes and the forests and we're going to do whatever we can. The best solution, if a person you feel is not the right leader, go to the ballot box. Encourage your people to go to the ballot box and vote. That's what people do, not go to the forest, to the bushes. We all know what happened. When people went to the forest in Liberia, in the bushes, we know what happened. We saw people dying. We saw people wearing two different pair of shoes and their pants were all torn up. And they were standing there while those who started this murderous adventure was driving big cars, and they had to stand at the gate to lift the gate or put it down so that these people can pass, whereas they had no food hardly to eat. Are we going to go back to such situation? Are we going to go back to such scene? Liberians, they said insanity is doing the same thing over and over and not getting any result. That is insanity. We can't keep doing these things and say we are militants to cause our country to be destabilized. And most of those who are seeing these militant suits and stuff, they are just young people who maybe were just kids when this war was going on in Liberia. And today, here we are again. You guys are encouraging this terrible, terrible uncertainty about our country. We have to put stop to that. When I was in Liberia and I was flying back to the States, I was fortunate to sit by an investor on the plane while flying back to the States. And here I began to chat, and he wanted to know who I was, and I wanted to know who he was. And I told him who I was, and he did mention about himself, but he began to tell me a story while flying together. He said he went to Liberia to start business, to invest in Liberia. But he said when he went to the offices that he felt or they told him was responsible for investors, the Commerce Department and other departments that were responsible, he told me that they charged him so much money for bribe in order for him to start a business in Liberia. I asked him, I said, how much do you think, or how much did they charge you? He said upward to $2 million. $2 million before a person can invest in Liberia. $2 million. And that is just bribery. This young man left and went to Liberia to start business so that our people can benefit from it. He was going to hire as many people he could have hired, pay them some salary or wages to at least help families in Liberia. But because of our selfish ambition, selfish and greedy attitude, we drove this man away, and guess what he did? He took his business to Ghana. Today, Ghanaians are benefiting from it, and he's flourishing. Why do we do such things and then we sit back and say investors are not coming to Liberia? Look at the markets. Everybody in Monrovia seems to be selling. Everybody seems to be selling. Why? Why should we do that to our own people? And then we complain when people talk about the truth, and then we get angry and begin to use profane languages on them and say things that are so derogatory because you don't want us to say the truth. But you know, I'm going to be persistent, consistent with saying the truth and nothing but the truth, so help me God. This young man could have done so much for Liberia. And I bet if he had gone and his business pick up and start to flourish, he could have encouraged other investors to come to Liberia. But no, we did not want it because we want to fill our own pockets. Why, Liberians? Why, Liberians? Why do we do such thing to ourselves? You want to tell me we'll continue to live in the days of old? People always say Liberians just doesn't like new things. They don't like change. Is that true? But then why, when these people come and say they are politicians and they're going to bring change to Liberia, you guys get up and vote for him or her? And in the final analysis, we don't see a whole lot. They try to build one road. It take a whole year or more to build a little street. The sewage situation in Liberia is deplorable. There's hardly no light. There's no running water. It's been what? Almost 16 years now. Since the Civil War, 16 years. And still we don't have those things in Liberia. But this is what we talk about. Stealing government money, corruption. So there are just a few things that I wanted to talk about, which is, as I mentioned, corruption. Our safety is not secure. The government need to step up when it comes to these murderous attitude of some people in Liberia and bring people to justice. And I'm just going to show you a little picture, a little photo, or just to remind you all who have just joined me that this is a message to our people back in Liberia, to Liberians, that we have to step up in some way because, you know, dishonesty ruins things. And it is because of dishonesty we have corruption. It is because of dishonesty that we have lack of security. It is lack of honesty that we talk about going back to the forest, to the bushes, for whatever reason, to retaliate or to remove a government. You know, I was just listening to a man who I understand on Focus on Liberia. He said they mentioned he was a lawyer and a politician, and it seems he was urging the Minister of Defense to take her arms in Liberia. He began to mention Guinea and other countries that did such thing. Why will we decide to do it? I don't know if it's in Liberia or here in the States. Sometimes we live in glass houses and we throw stones. Why would we encourage such thing in Liberia? Even talking about people should get on the street and protest and have an uproar. Do you know the danger that could bring to our country? Life going to be lost. Do you know, young man, or the lawyer that you say you are, do you know that people in Sierra Leone were killed? They lost their lives because of that. And you mentioned that that whatever happened, something, things got to happen and people maybe in the process will die. Why would people have to die? Why people have to be murdered? Why will you create something to cause people to be murdered when there's no reason to do it? The Liberian people elected the president. The Liberian people need to step up if they feel that he's not the one. But since this has happened, have we heard anyone protesting? If you guys say that George Weah is so corrupt, now we sit in America and we tell people in Liberia to do the unimaginable because we are safe in a safe country, and we should understand America itself is not safe. People starving, people in the eye, in the stomach, killing people almost every day. Listen to the news from America. People kill people every day in this country. Liberia is much peaceful. Why should we instigate things that will cause disruption? People are trying to put their life together. But then we sit here in America or other places and tell people in Liberia to do things that are not right. And then when they are oppressed, they say, oh, we can do anything, anything. Anything is not an answer. So let us try to put stop to these kind of things that cause problem in our country. Liberia need to be a peaceful country so that those of us living out of Liberia can return home and enjoy our motherland. Liberia is a beautiful country. Why would we always want to destroy it? Why do we want to destroy it? So subscribers, I thank you for subscribing. I thank you so much for being a part and parcel of what I'm doing here. If it had not been you, I won't be sitting where I'm sitting today, because you are a source of encouragement. And I want you to keep your comment coming. Please make comment, okay? Tell me what you think. What can we do to make Liberia better about what is going on in our country? Is it the right thing? What people are saying, are they right? Sooner than later, I will have a program where you all can join me and let's ask questions and answer questions, because 2023 is around the corner and we don't want any problem in our country. We want it to be a peaceful election. If the citizens of Liberia feel that they are not supported by the government, they have the right to vote the government out. Instead of going to the forest or making derogatory statements, insulting people, every little thing we cuss, we insult, that is not who Liberians are. Why should we continue to depict such thing on ourselves? Like Liberians are rude people. We are just uncooped. We just don't know, unhinged. Why? We are not those people. We are calm. We are loving people. We have very good hearts. We are hospitable. Let's keep it that way and protect our mother's land. So those of you who have not subscribed, I'll ask that you please subscribe. All right? I do appreciate you. And keep, lifting my hands up as you support my channel. I'm excited to announce that on my way from Minnesota to Atlanta, Georgia, I came across a YouTuber. Mistress Piso and their husband. I think many of you have watched their videos and talk about their homes their home they built in Liberia, their Palava hut and the security house and the land they purchased in Marshall. I was privileged and honored to meet her and their husband while stepping off the train, and they were stepping on the train at the airport in Minnesota. So, Madam Piso, I want to say thank you for that brief stop that we had, and it was really an honor to talk to you. And I hope you continue this great job that you are doing by informing the Liberian people and the world about the happening and things that you do. I'm so blessed and so pleased to know you by meeting you at least for the first time. So I hope all is well. Thank you, my sister, and keep it up. Lifting my hands up as you support my channel because I'm blessed to have you. Thank you. And until then, this is Sonny Wayne Fella saying peace out.